Because when you think of Nike logos, the first thing that comes to mind is a claw, right? I'm Andrei Mincov, the founder of Trademark Factory, and in this video I'm going to share my thoughts about yet another trademarking screw up. This time around, it's Nike going after the claw. Let me read from the article, and you can always find the link in the description below. Nike files countersuit against Kawhi Leonard over Klaw logo. Sneaker giant alleges former Raptor is trying to take credit for its designer's work. In the latest step in the battle between Kawhi Leonard and Nike, the shoe giant has filed a countersuit against the former Toronto Raptor and current Los Angeles Clippers star over his continued use of the Klaw logo. Known for his large hands, Leonard sued Nike in June, claiming that he had been working on the design, which features the letter KL, well, I guess letters KL, and Leonard's number 2 inside of an outstretched hand, since he was in college. Nike, however, alleges the design was developed while Leonard was a member of its Jordan brand, and on Wednesday it filed a countersuit against the two-time Finals MVP in the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of California, where Leonard filed his suit. In this action, Kawhi Leonard seeks to rewrite history by asserting that he created the Klaw design logo, but it was not Leonard who created that logo, said Nike in its filing. The Klaw design was created by a talented team of Nike designers, as Leonard himself has previously admitted. In 2018, Leonard left Nike, and in 2019 he signed a new deal with New Balance. New Balance has since featured Leonard in multiple campaigns, including Fun Guy and perhaps most famously during the NBA Finals with King of the North. Since leaving Nike, Leonard has continued to use the logo on non-Nike apparel, and in June asked the courts to declare him the sole proprietor of the Klaw logo. In its countersuit, Nike said Leonard alleges he provided a design to Nike. That is true. What is false is that the design he provided was the Klaw design. Not once in his complaint does Leonard display or attach either the design that he provided or the Klaw design. Instead, he conflates the two, making it appear as though those discrete works are one and the same. They are not. Okay? Nike alleges that Leonard is trying to take credit for the work of its designers, despite the contract's intellectual property ownership provision to which Leonard agreed, and despite his prior public acknowledgement that Nike authored the Klaw design. Leonard has now decided that he and not Nike is the rightful owner of the registered Klaw design, and has gone even further to accuse Nike of committing fraud by registering its Klaw design with the Copyright Office. In 2017, the suit says. Moreover, in clear contravention of Leonard's contractual obligations and Nike's exclusive ownership rights in and to the Klaw design, Leonard has continued to use and reproduce the Klaw design without Nike's authorization on his non-Nike apparel, worn publicly, and has manifested his imminent intent to commercially exploit the Klaw design on non-Nike merchandise. With its filing, Nike is looking to prevent the NBA star from using the design and is asking the court to rule in its favor and dismiss Leonard's lawsuit. All right, this is interesting. Now, usually, trademarks are not about who came up with the idea first. It's true for names, it's true for taglines, it's true for pretty much anything about trademarks, because it's not about coming up with an idea. It's about using, making known, and registering that brand. It's about owning that brand. Who owns it first? And simply coming up with an idea is not enough. But with logos, things could be different, because the design can be protected by both copyright and trademarks. Copyright would protect the image itself as piece of art, whereas trademarks would protect the ownership of the design in connection with specific products and services, which is what trademarks do. So in this case, the question really is who designed the logo, who drew the logo? Because the interesting thing about copyright is that it's not about the idea, it's not about underlying idea, it's not about thoughts, it's not about coming up with a concept. It's about physically drawing or physically, using Photoshop to create the file, whatever, or Illustrator, whatever they used. Whoever did that would own copyright in the image. And what Nike is saying is that the player came up with an idea, and probably it was somewhere along the lines of, well, I want letter K, I want letter L, I want number 2, and let's make a logo out of it, something similar to this. And then Nike's designers actually drew the thing that is now the logo. So from the copyright perspective, the original idea may be relevant because it's about expression of the idea that matters. And there's a contract apparently between Nike and Klaw, and we don't know what it says, but I assume that it says that Nike would own intellectual property in that design. And if that's true, then again, coming up with the idea for the design doesn't matter, because it would be both through contract and through the actual creation of the image that Nike would prevail. And similarly, obviously with trademarks, they've registered that, and now they own it. So the interesting thing here is how different is the design that Nike created from the original design that Klaw gave to them. Could it be that Nike's design is considered derivative, a derivative work? And if that's the case, if Nike's design is considered a derivative work from the original artwork that Klaw gave them, then it will boil down to what does the contract say about it, right? And if the contract says that whatever designers design Nike owns, then so be it. If it doesn't mention it, then it's a totally different ball game. But we will have to wait and see what happens. What it's really about is Nike have invested in promoting the brand. And when I say brand, I mean both the player himself and the logo. And now that he's left to their competitor, I understand the reluctance of Nike to allow him to take the brand with him, because it's their asset. And now he's having the Klaw logo next to New Balance, whereas Nike says, no, this is our thing. It cannot appear on non-Nike apparel. So that's really what the whole thing is about, and it will be interesting to see where this goes, because of course there's this underlying hurt of Nike for losing the player to a competitor, but they're using whatever they can, which in this case is copyright and trademarks and intellectual property, to stick it to Klaw, and we'll see if they're going to be successful, because if they are, really what's going to happen is that Klaw will have to redesign the logo and maybe go back to his original one, or have somebody redesign it. Then we again need to see what the contract says with Nike, and whether he could even use the same concept anymore. We'll see how this ends up, and if there's a public update, you'll know about this in these videos that I put out every day. So to not miss the development of this case and other situations that I talk about every single day, subscribe now and get notified whenever the next video goes live. If you got a brand that you want to protect, whether it's a logo, whether it's a word mark, whether it's a tagline, whether it's some combination, make sure you go to trademarkfactory.com and book your call with our strategy advisors. And until then, I will see you in the next video.